and welcome. I'm so delighted you joined us today. And we have Adam Katzenstein here. So Jason, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, it is awesome to have you because I have to say, graphic novels, they have the magic right now. They turn kids who don't want to read into readers and passionate readers at that. And your books, the Camp Midnight books, are so perfect because they're kind of a horror comedy mashup. And what could be cooler than that right now, huh?
Oh, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Camp Midnight because some of these people may not know it, which is hard to believe, but true. So tell us about Camp Midnight and then the follow-up, which has been out for a few months now, Camp Midnight versus Camp Daybright.
So Camp Midnight is written by Stephen T. Siegel, and it's illustrated by me, and it is now a two-part series. And in the first book, Sky finds herself the only human in a summer camp for monsters, which is scary to her, not just because she's afraid for her safety, but also it's like a scary social situation. She wants to be cool and accepted. And so it's horror, but it's also comedy. And then the follow-up, Camp Midnight versus Camp Daybright, is the following summer and the hijinks that ensue one summer after. Without trying to give any plot points away from Camp Midnight, the sequel is about a lot of the fallout from that first summer and how Sky has changed and ways in which Sky needs to continue to change.
So this is published by Image, and oftentimes when we see work from creators on Image, it means this is a passion project, something you just really, really wanted to bring to life. Is that true for this project, for you and Stephen?
Absolutely. So Steve had this idea before we even met, and we met through a mutual friend, a guy by the name of Daryl Sabera, who's a great actor, and who does voices on Steve's cartoon shows. So Daryl thought we'd get along, and we did. And when I showed Steve my work, this was the idea that he wanted to realize together. And then from there, we worked out the character designs in the same room, and we would do about 7 pages a week together. And this was my first comic. I had just graduated from college, and so this was the first book I worked on. And Steve is so many people's mentor in this industry. He's worked with a lot of first-time creators, and he's so passionate about the medium and so excited about it, and such an inspiring person to work with that I understand why people continue to work with him who are just getting started, as well as seasoned veterans who have worked with him in the past.
Wonderful way to start off, and an inspirational story for those kids who want to be comic creators themselves. So, and you're also a teacher, right? Don't you teach at after school programs and things?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And Wesley.
I've been teaching at Wesleyan University, and I also have taught middle school art, and I'm just so impressed. Some of my students in the college course have gone on to work professionally in comics, which is amazing to see. I think that it's such a small world, and just like the way Steve helped me into this industry, it feels really important for me to help people who are passionate about this and who might have some questions about how to break in.
Well, that's wonderful, and it's always good for kids to know that there are viable careers that may not be the ones they've heard about all their lives. So, you know, what is the thing? Do what you love, and that you never work a day in your life. So.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds like, and of course you're a New Yorker cartoonist too. So one of my probably top 5 New Yorker cartoons, or one of them is by you. So.
Oh wow, it's an honor.
Well,
wait, can I ask which one?
Well, where's Waldo in 5 years?
Oh wow, that was one of my first ones.
I love that one. So as somebody who's made a life in children's books, it's just it just speaks to me on so many different levels. So it's amazing that your art is there, and you sign it JAK when you do that. Does that have something to do with why you have the Adam?
Yes.
Okay, I wondered. Like B.
Okay. Yes. So my last name is quite long, and New Yorker cartoonists, it's customary for them to sign their names, but Jason Katzenstein was going to take up too much room, so I figured I'd go with initials. JK though is short for just kidding. And so if I put JK next to the cartoons, everybody would be like, we know it's a cartoon. We know you're just kidding. So I added my middle name so that it could be JAK. Sometimes people call me Jack when we meet now because of my initials, but yeah, that's the origin story for the signature.
There we go. So, okay, so do you go by Jason in everyday life, or do people say Jason Adam?
I go by Jason.
Okay, good to know. Another lesson there, you can change your name if you need to, kids. So,
Mm-hmm.
so let's go back to Camp Daybright and Camp Midnight. So we don't want to give away too many plot points, but Sky's at a camp filled with monsters, but by the end, okay, right? I mean, she's learned to find a way to fit in and accept herself who she is and make friends, and that's all right, right?
Yes.
So that leads us into the next one. Can you tell us a little bit about the next book and what changes there are from the first one, and also the cast is diverse in a different way in the second one, I think.
It's true. So when we made the first Camp Midnight book, we were really thinking about what it feels like to be an outsider in a group. And so we needed in the sequel, we really loved the dynamic of Sky feeling like an outsider. And because she is sort of inclined to always feel like she's separate from the group, there are different ways to tell that story. And the monsters in the first book felt like a metaphor, for anybody who feels like they're made fun of or like they're not included. But we realized also that when we were talking about the book, how much it was like a clear metaphor for feeling outside of like some of the de facto categories that people want to put you in as a kid, or some of the overrepresented or dominant categories, like in media in general, like stories are too white, stories are too straight, and we wanted to make sure that we had characters of color and characters who have different um, uh, how do I put it?
Gender
Like
identity, or
certainly gender identity, who date different people, who I don't want to ruin any twists or plot points, but really it's a book about celebrating difference and love and accepting who you are, even if it might feel like it makes you separate from the group, that ultimately the group is full of people who feel separate in some ways, but that solidarity and love are going to win the day.
yeah, I have to confess, I love the character of Leaf. So
Same, we do too.
yeah, they are somebody I really identify with. Can you tell us a little bit about Leaf and about that friendship between Sky and Leaf?
Yeah. So Leaf is a new sort of step family member of Sky's, because Sky's father, Steve, and I have a rule, is dating somebody different in every Camp Midnight book. Spoiler, spoiler. Leaf is gender non-binary, and is also, I think that one thing that we love about Leaf and Mia as well are that we have these characters who are optimistic, whereas Sky can be a little bit sour, but we don't make them out to be like the sillier character for their optimism. It's like Sky is constantly learning from Leaf, who is enthusiastic and passionate and determined to really feel like they're a part of this camp experience.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Now, you may be wondering why we're talking about sleepaway camp stories, but I have to point out this is being recorded about a week before Halloween, so the horror aspect is certainly relevant, and frankly, we can always use a good story, a good horror comedy mashup, no matter the time of year. So this can be enjoyed at any time of year, and I bet there are a lot of kids who wish they could have gone away to camp this past summer and didn't get to. So this is a good escape for that. So are you going to draw something for us, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm going to show you how to draw our hero Sky. Let me see if I can turn this so that we can see. Is there glare on the screen? Yes.
There is, but it's work. I should point out that you're in Lexington, Massachusetts right now, and that's why we have all this beautiful foliage around. And you're not freezing.
Yeah. No, I'm feeling great.
All right.
Okay.
That looks good.
Great. So, I started drawing the sequel on an iPad. I use a program called Procreate, and I have downloaded all of these custom pens. So Sky's really fun to draw. Her design has evolved a little bit over the years because I've spent 5 years drawing her, but our starting point is always a circle. Some people say, how could you draw? I can't draw a straight line. I can't draw a circle. Well, that's entirely because nobody could draw a straight line or a circle is the secret. But places is actually, you can tell it's done by a human. Now we're going to draw Sky's hair, which is jagged. It's got a lot of pointy elements in it. Can you see it on the screen?
Yes, we can see it. It's looking great. She's coming to life. I'm fascinated by the different pens you can use on your iPad Procreate.
Yeah, it's the name of the program. Highly recommend if you are in a position to get your hands on an iPad. This program is my favorite since Photoshop.
Wow, that's an endorsement.
Now, sometimes Sky frowns. I should say often Sky frowns. And this is my favorite way to draw her because she has one line straight across for her eyebrow. Then a little jutting out nose like that. Here, a big frowny mouth. And her eyes in comic strip fashion.
Wow.
Stuff like that.
There she goes. There's
Sky.
a lot of character. A lot of character there in Sky. Great. Well, thank you so much for showing us how to draw Sky, and for telling us a little bit about your history and Camp Midnight and Camp Daybright. And I hope that everyone will check it out and keep an eye peeled. Are there more adventures that you may be doing with Camp Midnight, or are you on hiatus for a little while like so many things are?
Eve and I are taking a little break, but we love the Camp Midnight world, and we're always talking about, potentially spending more time there.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thank you again, and have a great Halloween, and have a great month, because it is certainly beautiful where you are. And I hope everyone will check out Camp Midnight, illustrated by our guest, Adam Katzenstein, who's the artist behind the creation of all these wonderful characters, and published by Image Comics. So thanks so much, and have a great day.
Thank you.